are in lockdown due to COVID-19. I will humbly request that we start our meeting with a prayer. We really need God's intervention in this time. Bawo oyingcwele yiso inkosi yethu Yesu Kristu. Thina siyathandaza ngenxa yelizwe lethu elihanqwe sibona semhle, sibona senamandla, sibona senkosi wethu, unguThixo wethu. Sikubona songamile. Kaloku sengulathi Thixo wavula indlela elwandle. Bawela bakho benceba. Sikubona usiwenza Nkosi nakule imeko sikuyo. Thixo wethu omhlakanana. Sibeke inkokheli zethu ke Nkosi yethu. Umongameli wethu bawona amandla engalali. Nkosi yami mezama amacebo Nkosi yami sithini. Bawona amandla umbeke ngexesha Nkosi kwamakhokheli leli lizwe laSouth Africa. Unenjongo uyazi kwamhla esonyuka ukuba ngalokunyaka 2020 obekhole engxaki futhi lingene yena. Siyathandaza ke Nkosi ngokwelizwi lakhe elitshoyo elithi bonke abasekongameni masibakhumbule masibabele. Thixo wethu omhlengana siyathandaza Nkosi, siyathandaza Thixo sincede Nkosi. Awona amandla onke nge-frontline workers zethu Nkosi. Thesa Thixo wami omhlengana sibeke ubomi babo esicengeni. Thixo wami kodwa wena njengoThixo bancede Nkosi. Basincede sonke Nkosi kwi-progress zonke. Sincede awona amandla uweba wedwa onaliye. Ngela wena uThixo ongaphezu kwazo zonke. Sibiza wena sixhume simqumbele ngoba awulalo. Saqalekele enhlangano singomama. Thixo wethu bale yaselfish. Bawona amandla siza kuwe njengoThixo. Ukuthi uqalele nathi give us wisdom. Qalele meeting konke Nkosi sekuncede Nkosi omama awona amandla ngexesha libe ngana ebenkosi ngesikhathi saNazaretha stay.
Amen.
Yamakulele makhosikazi. Let me take this opportunity of welcoming you all. Technology, we advance. We were born some of us, but we thank God. Young blood that is sebenza you all say ilandele ezinye imithi ngesangena kwezinye noko sesibuqhela we thank our food soldiers zethu ezifana sincedise ndizawucela ihevilelwe our agenda with Caucus is gonna and then unazo ni credentials Caucus credential Mr. Caucus can you hear me Mr. Caucus hello Mr. Caucus can you hear me
Chair.
Chairperson, I can hear you.
Chair. Chairperson.
Hello.
Chairperson nguzibonda Chair. Yes, ndicela mani amalungu abantu abakhoyo ba mute imic zabo wonke umuntu xa uthetha omnye amute because asivani kakuhle.
Oh, thank you honorable members. Thank you honorable members. Can you please honorable members mute your
Chair, sorry. Open up. My apologies, Chair. My apologies. Okay. You are not from where you are. Your sound is very static. I think your sound is very static. You are breaking up. I think the IT people must really look at it, or otherwise you must bring. I don't know if you're using your phone or your iPad. Just bring it closer to you, and perhaps you must just then put off your video. perhaps sometimes it does assist with the audio if the video is also turned off. Yourself and your coordinator, perhaps it will assist in that process.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Can you please help us with the agenda and the credentials and apologies, please?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning, members. Good morning, fellow staff. We received an apology from Honorable Makubela, who is unable to join us because she has been hospitalized.
Okay.
Then our second agenda comes from the Honorable MEC for Social Development, who could not be part of this meeting due to the presidential visit that is to take place and where all the members of the executive are expected to be at.
Okay.
And then, Chairperson, those were the apologies.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Koise. Honored members, I put the apologies to you. Any mover in the seconder for the adoption?
Chair Bonda moves for the adoption of the agenda.
Thank you, Honorable Member Bonda.
I second Honorable Benya.
Thank you, Honorable Benya. Mr. Koise, can you take us through the agenda?
Thank you, Chairperson. On the agenda, we are on the business items. We have the following business items on our agenda. The Public Participation Week is number 1. Number 2 is the Women's Parliament. Number 3 is gender-based violence during lockdown and shelters. Number 4 is supply of PPPEs by women cooperatives. Number 5 is the parole of inmates during lockdown. Those are the items on the agenda, Chairperson. There are 5 of them. I can go over them if you want. Thank you.
And the discussion is not there? Where is discussion?
Sorry. There is also, Chairperson, a discussion on each and every point that we have on the items.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Koise. I put the agenda, honorable members. Any amendments or adoption?
Honorable Chair Konza here. Can you read it again, please?
Mr. Koise?
Thank you, Chairperson. The agenda items are as follows. Number 1, Public Participation Week. Number 2, Women's Parliament. Number 3, gender-based violence during lockdown and shelters. Number 4, supply of PPEs by women cooperatives. Number 5, parole of inmates during lockdown. Thank you, Chair.
And the discussion will be after.
Thank you, Slam.
The discussion will be after each and every item. Anyone adopting? Honorable members, are you adopting the agenda? Honorable members.
Yes, Chair.
I move for the adoption.
It was adopted,
of the
Chair.
agenda.
Oh,
Yes, we move for the adoption, Chair.
We agree on the adoption, Chairperson.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Our first item now word 4 is a public participation week. According to our programming, in July, we are supposed to have the public participation week where we going out as women caucus. We are bringing to you for a discussion so that we check this time around, what exactly do we want to do during this week to identify the thematic areas as Women Caucus as we go to all the regions. Normally, we have some teams that are going to all the regions as we did last year. So we are bringing that this year. What do you think we can look at it as our agenda item when we're doing the participation? Hello? Hello, members. Are you with me?
Mamele, Chair.
Okay, the second item is Women's Parliament. According again to programming, we are supposed to have a sector parliament this year. The last sector parliament was in 2016 in Tredani. We are bringing to the Women's Parliament that we identify the area we think is relevant for us to have our Women's Parliament. And again, unfortunately, we couldn't get the resolution of the last parliament. I'm still trying to check with the relevant officials that were there. I was told it was my woman who was in charge. Because we must see the resolution of that parliament and so that we can see what she has done or not. But we're here, we're bringing to you which area this year that we think we must target. As by last year, the last one was in done. Remember, according to the new approach that the legislature adopts, we have one women parliament, sector women parliament per term, because all sectors are given a chance. It's not unlike other years where we're doing it here. This time around, it's one term. When we look at it, we have fathers, youth, disability, children. So this year is us. So I'm bringing that to you for that for discussion, so that where we think we could have our parliament. With the issue of gender-based violence during this lockdown, the report that we got from the National Command Center is the rise of the gender-based violence during this lockdown. We requested to MEC for Social Development a report to her to give us, but she agreed. But unfortunately, I think she has forgotten that there's this is the president. She's not here, but she promised to forward the report. I don't know if we'll be able to use it when she's not there. When we wanted her to give us about this gender-based violence and also the shelters that are there. Again, we've learned during this time, we saw the level of abuse of women leaders during lockdown in social media. That is so pathetic. We've seen Mamutikana, our embassy. We've seen Mama Sisulu. We've seen
Che.
We've seen Tumana. We've seen yesterday. Oh, hello.
Hello.
I'm just a member of parliament.
Chairperson. It's
Aye.
It's Guy on the side. Yes, Chair.
Yes,
you are not audible. You're not audible, Chair. You are breaking up. I'm starting to hear from my side. I don't know with other members, but I can't hear you clearly. You are breaking.
Okay. It was, yeah, I'm in a rural area. There's no electricity, so I'm in a car. As
Okay,
other members, I am not honorable in other members. Hello.
So
I am not
We're all
honorable.
struggling, Chair. We are struggling, Chair, all of us.
Yes,
Koto here.
we are Caucus.
Yeah, Caucus ne.
We are
Uvimba yokuqala.
Ndigqibele sihlalo ngela xesha usamenshina uSisulu. Yaba ke emveni koko andiseva tu.
Okay, let me put
Avakali
what is just
Sihlalo.
in front of me. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
No,
Hello?
Chairperson. Yes, Chair. We can't hear you.
I'm trying to go around. You don't hear me now.
Uyaqhawuka Sihlalo, that's the
Hello?
problem. Uyaqhawuka. It's even worse now, Chairperson.
It's becoming worse and worse.
Let me get it. Hello, can you hear me now? Am I audible? Members? Honorable members.
Sihlalo kubi kakhulu kweli cala lakho.
Hey, I wonder, you don't get too fast. This same old way, and yes, never in Tony. Hello.
Even your phone is it off? Ingabi gadget elapha kufutshane evuliweyo.
Ingathi ku-gadget evuliweyo. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, here we go.
Hello. Bye, sir.
Who are you saying hello?
Hello. Mr. Koise. Mr. Koise.
Ma'am, ndiyakuva.
Ndiyakuva.
Ndiyakuva, ma'am.
Can you chat with umonwabisi man to start le nto ekho yabandingavakali ebantwini?
Okay, ma'am.
Assisting you. Why? Honorable members, can you hear me now? Honorable members.
Sihlalo, your audibility needs to be sorted out first. Asikazukuva engekabikho sorted out.
Chair,
Okay.
can I suggest something, Chair?
Yes.
It's Zibonda, Chair. Chair, can you hear me? Can I suggest maybe because Chair and and I was no respond again. Can I suggest to the honorable members that Chair, since she has a problem with connectivity, can we, in the meantime, while she is sorting out, can we have the whip leading us and chairing the meeting until Uslalo is well connected? It's just a suggestion, honorable members.
Chair, mna ndifuna usuggest into yobana members ezivele eTV zisuke zona eTV so that kuzozameka inetwork uba ibe smooth. Xa sikhona sibaninzi eTV iba khona la problem ye-connectivity. I'm not saying ndiphikisana nawe Honorable Sibonda. Yangeza nje kule nto ithethayo.
I-TV nalesikuyo mveni.
Ewe yeni. Ewe iTV Honorable Gombo uba wayevele eTV kule nto.
Mabonakude.
Uthi honorable sisuse ezi zethu ii-videos screenini.
Because it helps with connectivity, Honorable Chair of Chairs.
Yes. Honorable Sibonda, ibisithini i-proposal yakhe?
I-proposal yam. Ithi iproposal yam ndicela whilst uchairperson esenengxaki, can't we have the whip leading us and chairing the meeting up until uchairperson has sorted out the problem yakhe, so that we can have a progress, Chair and a member.
Yeah, honorable members. Do you get that, honorable members?
Yes, Chair, we do.
Hey, picture, let's get time.
Yes, Mama Fan.
Ubhetele kakhulu ngoku.
That's better. That's better.
Okay. Ndingaqhuba ke ngoku ne. Hello.
Wethe nawe khawuzijonge uba ume ndawoni na, ingathi kanti problem kwi-network yakho wena kule ndawo kuyo.
I suspect that by network. Then the circular by gender-based violence, honorable members.
Loud and clear, Chair.
Siyakuva, Chair.
Siyakuva, Chair.
Okay. Then the Sati, we let during the time of COVID-19, we have seen the attack of women leaders. That is quite disturbing, especially the social media. And we're saying our country is not a banana republic. Whoever is being alleged, fortunately, Privy has set in the issue of Mama Utikana investigation. So we are worried. Last night it was Mama who judge. Social media, her husband, family issues. This morning is an attack on provincial commissioner who's tested positive. We are saying, well, the president was saying there is a war declared against women during this time when it comes to gender-based violence. And we have seen that these ones are visually attacks on women leaders. There are those that are physically and emotionally abused at home. And our worry was that during this time of lockdown, there was no liquor, there were no cigarettes. And we ask ourselves, develop this, because normally our partners would say, because unkhumbuli and nqilile. So this time around, it is clear that they're sober, the issue of gender-based violence. So besing back MEC besimcele uzawusinika mhlawumbe i-details, but kuba ke ngoku enale apology, I'm just showing it. We have this, and there were also shelters for the abused women. I am sure in your areas, in districts, there are these shelters. We have to visit, if possible, these shelters and see women and encourage women to voice out, because of the lockdown, with an abusive partner, because it's lockdown. We are saying they must move out and report cases. They must go out to shelters. So it was last night, the president also confirmed that men have declared the war against women. It's worrisome. It's really worrisome. And we want to also to convey our message to our frontline workers that are out there. The majority of them are women. Your nurses and your doctors, your police, our provincial commissioner, who as Women Caucus that were using her whenever there's a murdered woman, rape, today he has been attacked by this
COVID-19. We must pray for all of us, all of them, those that have been attacked by this virus. And we must pray hard where we are. It's high time that we pray, because that's the only solution. Parliament wethu uyazama, our president siyambona uyazama, kodwa the women are the targets. If you look, if there was a report, there's the statistics, the women are the majority that are dying. So I was raising that, but as now again with the formal report, this is a human through OMC. Those are the items that I was bringing. And also, now that there's this PPEs that are needed in almost every, it is declared most, that each and every person, whenever you are going out, you must have a mask. There's a full idea to encourage our women in our PCOs to have eco-ops so that they can benefit the COVID unit. Because amakhosikazi siyayazi banemithungo zabo ii-project zabo, so that not as strategic deployed women in departments omasipala, they can be used kuthengwe kubo these PPEs, especially the mask. Amakhosikazi siyawabona ziyathengiswa, but we don't know zenziwa ngubani. And as our terrain as women, land yoga center, so we must encourage our women, and we must encourage the departments that were oversighting. To make it a point, when procuring, they must first consider women projects to buy from. So those were the items that we thought that I must bring to you. Thank you, honorable members. Are you with me? Have you noted
Chair, sorry. Chair, if I may speak, it's Helen here.
Thank you, Speaker.
Can I just add, Chairperson, you have left one item out. It's the parole of inmates. That was the last item on the agenda. I thought you will deal, and then we will be able to engage.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, we have heard the announcement by the National Command Center that about 19,000 inmates will be released and be given parole. And we want to say, as Women Caucus, we must have a voice of saying, at those that have committed the crime of murder, of rape of women, those must not be given parole. That we must make that appeal. That bona abo bane serious cases zokubulala umama, zokuhlukumeza mama nabantwana, they must rot in jail. Because we have seen the issue of parole. The lockdown, where the very band they have been given the parole, they repeat, commit. We have seen the issue of Western Cape, where a child was murdered by a parolee. So we're saying our government must consider lending parole. For us as women, it is not access to us. But 2 months, 3 months down the line, they are back. So we're saying if the Department of Justice must reconsider the issue of parole, at least the mild cases, but those who have committed murder, they must not be given. Even this time around of this COVID, they must not be given parole. Those were the last issue that I'm supposed to discuss with. Thank you, honorable members. I've touched them all. Ne? Hello, honorable members.
Honorable
We are here.
Sikhona,
We are
Chair.
here.
Sikhona, Chair.
We are here.
Oh, I'm done with all of them, the 5 of them: public participation, women's parliament, gender-based violence, the supply of PPs by women cooperatives. The last one was parole of inmates during lockdown. Those were the items that I think we must discuss and come up with suggestions and resolutions. Thank you. Any take? Any take, honorable members?
Hello, Changu Konza.
Yes, madam.
Ngubani.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank
Helen,
you.
please.
Chair Lobisha.
Enkosi Sihlalo.
Timthathi Lobisha.
Enkosi mama.
Yes.
No,
Ngubani
yes.
Sihlalo.
Eh?
Comrade Chair.
Who's? Hello, Mama.
Tumeka.
Hello. Tumeka, yes.
Nyalambisa.
Hey. You can shoot, Mama Konza. Anyone?
Enkosi Sihlalo. I am not sure in relation as to anomalies of the agenda as the items of Kala no by any adoption of the agenda. But when this out before the adoption
We've
of
done
the
it.
agenda.
We have adopted the agenda.
Okay, it means I'm falling off because I was going to talk on the issue or on the item that is awaiting, that does not have a report from the MEC, which is in the agenda.
Okay.
So, you know, but I can't even adopt it because I could have raised it then I withdraw as like.
Okay. Because we indicated that that report was going to be given by MEC, but because MEC has got the apology, and I think she was the relevant person for us, we can browse around the issue of attack of women. Seated and we have learned there's high rate of harassment of women, especially women leaders. We can talk about that one. But the specifics of how many in our province, the cases that are reported, it will be Mama MEC Social Development who was having that report. Are you done, Mamukonza? Mamukonza?
Slalo, I said I withdraw out Ibiamkelo because my view was that in the absence of the detailed report that would make us to be exact and also to focus on issues that we want to address around that item, why don't we then shelve the item if the MEC is not here to give us the report? So that in that item we become specific and deal with issues and come up with a clear program of how to deal with the issues that are raised.
Okay. Thank you. Honored members, I get to Mama Konzane, the report of specific, but there's this second part of attack of women leaders. We can talk about that one. I don't think it needs, because we know these leaders, and come up with some resolution for a press release that we can issue with our communication. No, we had enough the attack of women, especially on social media. Honorable Kubana, it's you now. Mama Kubana, chairs.
It's your chair. Hello, Salo.
Yes, madam.
I think Salo, we public participation week, the report yakucendane. Because the office kudala ikhona yona noba ngaba ngakhona umuntu ongekhoyo, the office should have brought the report eyoba zithini i-resolutions zakucendana. To me, Salo, is just unacceptable inoba kuthiwe there are no resolutions zakucendana. Let the office go back iyozifuna as resolutions.
Resolution.
And ikwazi nokuconsulta even with the office of the premier uba zithini ilanduka i-resolutions. Eyesibini sihlalo, the Women's Parliament. Nayo sihlalo, I think bekufamba kuza umlumiso noko the Women's Parliament esesanazo in the past years, just like yona leya kucentane. Now, ngokwe challenges that are facing women on the ground, si observe nathi singamakhosikazi, mhlawumbe sinayo issue kamama oye wabethwa wojiwa wasejogqabi. Sinazo nezinye areas that we can identify. Then sithi ke ngoma sikhe sise le ntuthuzelo kwezo ndawo ezinjalo kube khona i-proposal that is coming forward. Then sihlalo coming to the lockdown, COVID-19, gender-based violence matters. Sihlalo, observation that your office has, iyafana nale namdinayo ethi, women always, amadoda, when they get tired, they try by all means to attack and abuse women. They also try by all means to create conflicts among women themselves, so that kube khona pull her down, abenzwa ngabafazi against abanye abafazi. I think xa sinokumove from that premise, sisithi ke ngoku, as your office and the ngela xesha lakudala ke we had a steering committee that would process some matters. Ofika kuba inayo whip, inayo mhlawumbe a member from the executive, even women's caucus and njalo njalo. And a member that represents people from the opposition parties. Okanye, that smaller team is out to identify as issues, it work together, yenze research ngale office yakho sihlalo. Then the process ezinye zezinto kungade ku requestwe individual women to come and present in the broader forum. Sibe sesinezinto ezi-refined when they come. But in principle, Salo, I agree with you into yoba iyevakala wena i-reports into yoba i-gender-based violence inyukile nakubantu abadade bebengaqhelanga ukuhlala nentsapho. Banezinto abazimakisha ii-mistakes nantoni koomama, and also abanye njengoba bengqingqile, they are looking at the leadership of women. Kudiscusswe kezo zinto ke zivele zifakwe ku-social media, kungakhange kwenziwe nalaa nto ithi i-natural justice kulo mfazi ukhokeleyo. Ingabe khona i-investigation eyenziweyo? Ingabe ukhe wanikezwa nithuba loba naye akaveze his side of the story? So into ezinjalo ke sihlalwa in principle, we know them and sifanele into yoba sizinqande. Then sihlalo i-unemployment rate yamakhosikazi during this COVID time, levels ze-inequality nakule ndlala, this hunger and poverty esi-subjected kuyo as women, nayo ifanele into yoba sibe nendlela esi-adressa ngayo sihlalo nakulesi statement sethu into yoba women are hard hit by this, and also those child-headed households are hard hit by this. Nendlela ke yokubeka izinto, because somebody can be wrong ngokwenza into, but the manner esi-raise ngayo mayingabi the manner yokuthi belittle the woman concerned. Just like as letters circulatayo zibhalwe nangukumkani, uDalindyebo and others. So there's a lot of belittling of women, the verbal and the emotional abuse of women in the process. So sihlalo izawusincedisa ke into masibe naso i-statement, but and over at the same time, we're cautious to jump the boat at times.
Yes.
Your comment against the that are subject to care or that are still being processed somewhere. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mamulo Bisha?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, good morning to you and other honorable members. Chair, let me first pass my condolences to the administrative member that has lost a sister during this trying time. Sinaye, and it's a paining matter. Esingakwazi ukuyithini ke mhlambi wonke umuntu funeka ethandazeni. Chair, on this agenda, I note that we have a number of activities that were planned, and you are speaking as though we can continue with them and do public participation and have a physical women's parliament. I'm not sure, okay, no, mhlambi le women's parliament, were you planning it to be a virtual one because of this pandemic? I'm not hearing you speaking of such. Even Nangale Public Participation Week, and ikuva ukuba if you because you are bringing it to us and you are not saying ukuba if we are to get the report, is it going to happen njani, noting the restrictions that are there, and we might find other areas closed for us to be able to go there or to meet relevant stakeholders. Ngoba kuthiwa i-social distance funeka ikhona. But I'm also of the view that let's shelve all this. If a women's parliament can sit virtually, let's do that. But in terms of the public participation week, let's wait up until lockdown or the restrictions have been relaxed. And also the content, one is quite interested to know what was the content matters on the table on both the public participation. We went to a public participation in the first quarter, but we did not, in my view, we did not conclude on those matters. We went and met with various stakeholders in different regions. We have not closed those matters. Some of them are still hanging. We left them hanging, like the issue of gender-based violence. In the area of Sarah Parman, it was rife. We did not conclude it as a women's caucus. So how I wish that before we can embark on another public participation week, we can close those cases, deal with them and close them. The second or the third issue, Chair, is on the issue of supply of PE. I support the sentiments that we must push for local co-ops, but we can make that statement as normal. If we don't engage or government does not pronounce on that, our own provincial government, it will just remain as a pipe dream, as it is happening. You are seeing the municipalities issuing the disposable PE, not PE, masks, instead of buying these ones that will be rewashed from our local people. And there is no restriction within a supply chain process that forces them to, or regulation that will force them to buy from the local. So you have that to consider. If we are to say, let's support the local, I would advise that we don't start that and establish co-ops and create expectation, which will come back to us. Not unless you are saying to us you have engaged a provincial treasurer and you have agreed with the MEC for Finance that in our province, it will be confined to the local cooperatives. Then we can go and advocate for such. But at the municipal level, we are told that the MFMA applies, they ought to follow that. So on lastly, Chair, on the issue of parole and gender-based violence. On parole, I think the president has been clear that those who have committed serious crimes like rape, murder, and child abuse are not going to be released. It's only petty crimes and those that have served long sentences that we are waiting for parole. So he is very clear on the matter. On the issue of gender-based violence, Chair, I think it's really a worrisome matter because even in the first 3 weeks of the lockdown, the president was saying over 120,000 cases have been reported. But you get one of our sites in the region closed that was housing because of coronavirus. They are minimizing social distance. I'm not sure how that can be handled because we have this pandemic on the side and there is no place to house others. But I think also in my thoughts, I thought when this meeting was called, we were also going to talk on the support that this caucus will be rendering in terms of giving groceries to child-headed homes and also to women that are not receiving grants, the funds that will be coming from the Women's Caucus. I think the need is too much out there, and the most vulnerable group and the most hit hard are those that are over 35 and are not closer to 65 and don't have kids that have a grant or have no other grant that they are receiving. I wish that this can look at funding those, and we have a program of such instead of looking at other matters. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mamulo Bishop. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Chairperson. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Thank you, Chairperson. And good morning to all the honourable members and the officials. Let me also echo Honourable Lobisha's condolences to the staff member who has lost a sister. Our prayers are with them. Obviously, at this critical time, it's not easy for families dealing with bereavements. But yeah, I think we must just take a step back and assess in terms of the agenda items. The public participation week cannot continue. It's unfathomable that it can continue in the current form that we have been doing work. In July, when we are supposed to do that, it is when we are just going to start hitting the peak. And we can't be at the forefront of saying, let us go out into a community that is going to be so highly infected at that stage. I think we must be able to say, how do we still continue? Or we must be able to plan together, how do we still continue doing our oversight and our public participation with this COVID-19 that is there. So I think perhaps the establishment of a steering committee with you and the WIP, obviously to look at these aspects to say how can we still do our public participation, possibly using the district model that is there, and how can we then have possibly utilizing our virtual settings for still making sure that we can have a women's parliament, but just change the format there of how can it happen within the July and within the August month. So perhaps we can say that there are perhaps areas to explore, and perhaps that steering committee will be able to then look at these issues and come and present something to us within a week or two. Present something us that is tangible that we can possibly look up. I think one of the issues, Chair, is that during that process, we may also then perhaps follow up the issues of the GBV and the fact that the shelters are currently closed, as Honorable Lubishe has quite correctly said it. But if we get that report as a matter of urgency from the MEC to give us in the province what is the provincial outlook, and if there are any places that can open up as a matter of urgency, I think it will greatly assist us. That information would really assist us in that respect. It's good that when we have these shall we call it lambasting of women, of all of women happening over social media, it's good that we issue those statements, but our statements must be very neutral, that we will always condemn such attacks. Those kind of issues do not belong on social media, and not try to stray into either or in support of, whilst we don't have. So I agree with those. It must be neutral. It must always be a condemning issue when we lambast. It doesn't matter from which political party, doesn't matter. But if women are condemned and lambasted and being touted out there is no good, we as women there must be a statement issued in that, and a strong statement that we condemn such acts and that we cannot stand for that. And I think that is where we come. So I'm linking that, obviously, also with the, can I just say, with the parole, we must actually come out in support of what the president has said, that it must only be those parolees that do not have any cases of rape, murder, molestation, sodomizing. Those ones of serious crimes cannot be so. And we must actually call on all the parole boards to apply their minds effectively within that, because remember, it is the parole boards that is going to make those decisions. So again, another statement can come out from the Women's Caucus with respect to that. I also want to agree, Chair, that we must not go and call for the establishment of co-ops. Perhaps that is not what you said, but let the existing co-ops be used. But you see, Chair, this is the dilemma. If those existing co-ops are not currently registered on the municipal database, on the provincial database, even for SOCDEF or with provincial treasury, then it becomes very difficult to issue them and to procure from them as government departments. I think we must be able to engage the MEC of Social Development, the MEC of Dr. Da, the MEC of Health, all over where they are having these co-ops, to see how do we as members of the provincial legislature, with our own constituency funding, start utilizing those co-ops to procure those masks and not go through the laborious process of supply chain, because then it will not be. But I think one of the issues that I was in another meeting that the MEC of Dr. Da raised with us, those masks in terms of the health profile, those masks can't be the ordinary mask. Also, it's not just your one, I think they call it a one-ply material. It must be of such a nature that it can actually protect people. So she was saying that she's already got co-ops that is busy doing certain of these health masks that can actually pass the test of time, if I may call it like that. So I think in that respect, Chair, those are just my few comments. Thank you so much.
Honorable Bimbayo, it's your turn.
Enkosi Chair, mandibulise kumntu wonke. Chair, mine sendicovered lento ithi ayinobakho ngexesha public participation week, but kuyo Chair, I want also to raise the issue of ixesha from the last year's public participation week. Sisubmitile a report to the House, and there were issues esasiziraisile pha. Now, ngela xesha ke Chair, kwakukhona izinto ezingazukwazi ukwenzeka because of the commitments or prior commitments. But Chair, mna ndiyafuna siyivale the public participation week ya last year ngelithi, these are the issues ezi-addressiweyo, these are the issues ezi-outstanding, then kube khona i-follow-up. Because Chair, uba sizoqala enye, correctly so, ikwi-program for this year, but we need to close and siqinisekise into uba what we agreed on in the last public participation week zizinto ezenzekayo singabonakalisi ngocofa ayishiye. So makube khona i-impact where besiyile because kaloku sasiye ebantwini and raised issues. Okwesibini, Chair, ndizawungena mna kule nto ithi kule nto ye-gender-based violence. It is good ngeli xesha ingakumbi xa i-specific around the time of i-lockdown. Sifumane ezaa specifics, ndiyangqinelana nabantu abatshoyo. On the supply of PPEs by women cooperatives, Honorable Speaker, undikhavarishile, Chair, because if sizokuthi makuprocure, ithetha ukuthi kufuneka senze umsebenzi omkhulu wokurejistarisha zi-cooperatives zabantu abangoomama, and also sifumane the criteria yabo xa berejistarisha efunwayo by government departments and municipalities xa berejistarisha kwi-database. And Chair, inintsi laa nto ifunwa phaa as i-requirements zokurejistarisha i-cooperative to i-database. Ivele ibe nzima weske ngoku kumama wasecofimvaba akunawuthi kunzima le yoba babe zii-cooperatives. So I'm saying, Chair, mna ibalulekile into yobana sibe naloo program yobancedisa barejistarishe so that bazokwazi ukulantuka ukubenefit as much as bakufuneke sibaqinisile. Not for future purposes, because it is our responsibility uqinisekisa into yobana those cooperatives ziyakwazi ukuzisustaina, zirejistarishiwe, zenziwe yonke into. Lastly, Chair, on the attacks of women leaders, now I'm covered by what Honorable Speaker is saying. We need not to be specific. Again, Chair, we need sifuneka sibethe umkhuba kuba akufunekanga sibonakale ingathi siphakama xa kukho abantu abathile. Kufuneka ke, Chair, naleyo siyisustain throughout the term as Women Caucus. Singathethi ngoku ngomso kwakufuneka siphinde sathetha sithule singathethi. So kubalulekile ke, Chair, ukulantuka ukuzitshekisha ezo zinto singazibhaqi nathi sesidregeka ekubeni uba sithetha because kwenzeke lena ngomso asithethi ka kwenzeke lena. We need to sustain that and we need to focus on i-principle uba sithetha kuba sithethiswa yintoni around that. Kona uathekwa kwabantu abangoomama. Okwesibini, kufuneka siyikhwaze naleyo ba oomama mabohlukane noathekha abanye boomama because asiathekwa ngamadoda qha, noomama bayaba-athekha oomama. Enkosi, Chair.
Thank you, Mamugaya. Mamugaya,
Hello, Chair.
Mamugaya.
Hello, Chairperson. Goise.
Hello.
Mamugaya une issues with the network yakhe, usaloge out. She's trying to log in, but usaphumile kwangu. Okay, Chair.
Mamuzibonda.
Hayi, Chair, no uyandithanda khange ndiphakamise, Chair.
Khangiphakamisa. Kubani ndimlibeleyo, ikhona igama lokugqibela ndilibeleyo.
Sihlalo ndicela
Unyalambi.
Unyalambi.
Unyalambi. Eke.
Unote namhlanje.
Mama Mama ubani?
Tamara Khanti.
Okay. Thank you. Mama Unyalambi shoot.
Enkosi, Chairperson. Ndibulise kuwe nakumalungu onke, Chairperson. Nam ndithi ngxe kwilungu elo lithe lalahlekelwa udadewabo ndithi akuhlanga lungehlanga, Chairperson. Chairperson, kwi-Triple P, Honorable Speaker has covered me, Chairperson.
Okay.
On gender-based inmates and PPEs, Chairperson. Next time, Chairperson, ndiyacela i-officials zisincedise ngomnye umsebenzi. Because if ujonga kwezi items, Chairperson, noko ibimele uba ikhona i-presentation esigayidayo that uba uzawuthetha nge-gender-based violence during i-lockdown, sinezi cases esinazo ngoku. noko singasese ngoku caba sizawuqalela noko kwezi ndawo sihleli kuzo because nathi chairperson ngoku sikwi-lockdown so maybe ezinye ii-cases ngakhe zingafiki kuzo zikhona ii-cases ezikhe zafika during i-lockdown zokuhlukunyezwa kwabafazi nabantwana ngamadoda asizazi but uba ibikhona i-presentation esixoxela kuyo noko chairperson engathi ngekungcono even nakule nto ye-inmates i-chairperson besimele uba sinee-references esinazo esithi if kuzawuthethwa ngokukhululwa kwamabanjwa noko ezi ii-cases ngokweemerits zee-cases noko sicela la amabanjwa anjengala angabalwa kule package yalo 19,000 athethe ngayo umongameli sibhlenke ngokuchairperson sixoxa nje asinanto isigayidayo uba i-discussion yethu mayihambe on this line u-PPE chairperson even naye chairperson mna ndingangayazi okokubana zeziphi ii-cooperatives eziranwa ngama-women and zikumila kunjani ezo cooperatives ziranwa ngabafazi besimele uba sinayo loo information yothi according to ii-cooperatives eziranwa ngabafazi nazi and zikwezi areas so that ezi sezona zithungayo chairperson sibe nendlela ethi zona awuziyozinika i-mask maybe zona zingenza i-mask so that zizonikeza ezinye ii-cooperatives zabafazi siyazi uba yonke le nto singaba because at the end uba unayo le data uzawukhupha ii-PPEs eziya kwii-cooperatives zabafazi kanti ezi PPEs zenziwe yindoda azenziwanga ngabafazi abafazi fumana i-rape made esizenze asinayo idatha chairperson yoba ziphi ezi cooperatives zabafazi gayida kwezi items noko besinoxoxa bhetele endithi ke chairperson kuleyo kanye yezo PPEs zizawukhutshwa zisiwe kwezo cooperative ibingaske chairperson singabizozipekeyita
Amunye Lambisa, uyaqhawuka. Hello. Umumana uqhawuka. Apha ekugqibeleni network yakho imbi. Hello. Amunye Lambisa. Amunye Lambisa.
chairperson
Hello. Thetha ndiyakuva.
Undivile ndonke ne chairperson.
Ewe ndikuvile. Kulapha ekugqibeleni apho kuye manje ukutshonela ndikuvile konke ngaphambili.
Kule nto ye-PPEs undivile chairperson endithi even nakuyo asinayo idatha yalama women arana i-corporate and at the end chairperson uzawufumanisa uba ezi mask azenziwa ngamanye abafazi abathungayo zinendoda somewhere ekuzawuthiwa yiyo le yenza imaski zisiwe kwaba bafazi ngaske kuthi kanti besinayo idatha yoba zithini ii-cooperatives ezikhoyo zezolima zezofuya zezothunga so that ezothunga sizincedisa ngematerial yoba zincede zenze ezi PPEs to other women ngathi ke ngoku asinayo idatha and chairperson ndithi ke ngoku xa ndilenda ndicela uba thina as members the-women's caucus when kusenziwa le nto because I know asina budget maybe budget ifumane department singabizozipletators chairperson sibe inxalenye yothi make sure uba ezi maski zifunyenwe zii-cooperatives eziranwa ngabafazi ndathula ke ngoku
Enkosi honorable member. Mama uKhanti nguwe ke ngoku.
Enkosi sihlalo nami bendike ndaqhawuka ke kodwa ke ndabuya ndiyabulela mandizibuyisele ke kuni nonke sihlalo and appreciating ke the platform that we have today simithe as women's caucus because ke i-COVID-19 it affects women as we are in majority as you said chairperson. Ipoint yami ke ikule nto ye-mask which I support what was alluded by other members. But ke bendike ndaphathiswa umphako ngamantombazana esithi uzukubuze kwi-women's caucus that umzabalazo we-sanitary towels noyisiwe nanguwo because abantwana bahlele emakhaya
they are still suffering ngohlobo ebebesafarisha ngalo to have sanitary towels. Ndicela ke when we talk about into yemask singabalibali ke o-girl child aba-affectwa into ye-menstruation. Okwesibini ke sihlalo ndize kule ye-gender based violence. I want to check ke mhlawumbi ke ndilandela ke elikhondo lika-Honorable uNyalambisa that we need to check that existing empowerment centers are still active during this process lockdown, and if not, how can we make them active? Is social development because when you go to these homeless centers that we establish in our districts or in our metro municipalities, you will discover that situation yendlela abahleli ngayo, it's a mix of women and men, and that ke siya ebusika we cannot run away that the abuse, it can happen in these homeless centers. So we need to check also on that social development asincedise, because last time you remember wayeba nazo into ekuthiwa zii-safe homes that assist women basuke kwezi zinto. Ndilibele enye eyayikhona ngelaa xesha kwakho laa nto yase kwaku-abhuzwa abafazi gqithi bebulawa, kodwa kune-Center of Hopes whatever, ndilibele igama layo. We need to check even on that ke sihlalo. Kule ndaba ke sihlalo yeparole zawudibanisa iparole ke ne-communication to say sizibhaqa ke sisengxakini because as parliament we are lawmakers as a legislature, and that on whatever that you are issuing we must guide against into yokubana singathethi against urhulumente. And you are a women's caucus of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, onospeaker, siphinde sibe yi-women's caucus under i-province ise-Eastern Cape eno-premier, which ke ungu-second ntonton chief command, as basimazi upresident ungu-chief command, but when it comes provinces, premier. That's on whatever communication that we are doing in future to raise issues that are affecting women, we must guard, sizikhusele, singathethi against urhulumente, and that siyazi into yokubana kule nto ye-COVID, into ye-COVID mos intle isidibanisa sonke, ayikho political, and that the office of the premier in this instance, nayo as a premier, the office on to premier. Akufunekanga ngenye imini othuke thina siyi-women's caucus sibhale into. Hence, I just also go back to say we're women's caucus of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature. So whatever communication that you get in any communication, funeke sigade ingathethi against the laws that we are making. That is why ndikhumbuza into yokuba we are lawmakers, that sizikhusele singachaneki. Enkosi kakhulu sihlalo.
Thank you, honorable members. That was the last honorable member obecele ukuthetha. Masizamkele discussion zonke honorable members, they were put and guiding and assisting us. Uba sesisiye ekubhaleni ukuba si-indicated that I think kule nto ye-public participation mhlawumbi besibele hope yona i-reality that kubi kakhulu, we cannot have any contact, but besinayikhona mhlawumbi end of July kwabe kubhethe mhlawumbi sekuvulekile, but siyayithatha into ethi kufuneke sicinge every minute or ayizokwazi i-contact yoba sihambe siye ebantwini ngenxa ye-COVID, and we cannot risk our lives nathi nabantu bethu, we cannot risk their lives kule nto. So siyayithatha, siyayamkela leyo into, siyayamkela le nto ethi masithekishe issues that were raised to public participation yethu ya last year. Sibone ukuthi senze ntoni zentoni ezi-outstandayo. Ndicinga ii-officials zethu ke zimamele so that sibone ukuthi singacebisa ibhala uba ezi esiziveze last year izinto sizivileyo kumaxa siphi ingasi. Fortunately, i-report was tabled ehousing. We need to make a follow-up yayo. Ndicinga uba ii-officials zethu ke zizasincedisa kakhulu ke kule yoba basenzele le nto yoba siyazi uba u-researcher in particular and coordinator. Kwi-issue ye-parliament, it's all same nayo le ye-public participation. It cannot take place if we're still under a lockdown. Ngoba i-parliament ifuna a gathering. So nayo sizawudependa ukuthi isimo during that time of August sizabe sisithini. Kwi-issue of gender-based violence, siyavumelana namakhosikazi ukuthi yes, masikhuphe a statement, but in our statement we must be constructive. We must be a statement esicoverishayo almost all women, singatargeti abathile, and masibe ne-sustainability in what we are doing. And singangeni kwi-details, but we review the attack of women. Our focus is to review the attack of women. So communication section wethu nguye kodwa kwasincedisa ke when we are preparing a state was ngabo ke that ababefundi zaloo nto. Siyimenshine nento ye-pull head down syndrome was ezinye eziphuma ku-social media ziphuma kumakhosikazi. Siyayinotha nale ithi as lawmakers asisikhuphi i-statement esi-destructive as against us as government. Siyayinotha nale yokuba the report specific about these cases of gender-based violence. Yilela ke besiyicele ke kumama umama u-MEC ebethe unayo. Ndicinga uba ke i-officials zethu zayinotha that next time we must get that report with a specific ethi ngoba kusho kuthiwa i-high kangaka nje kwezi ndawo thina sikuzo in our region bezikhona beziluhlobo luni i-cases. Nakwi-issue yezi-parole nayo siyavumelana that nakhona must be specific, and we support the call by the president. Because the president utshilo wathi we're giving a parole kwabo bane-light cases. Siyayamkela nale yokuba sithi our parole board will be sensitive when dealing with these issues. Yokuba yiyo eza kujonga these cases. We need to kuba parole yethu it apply its mind when it's dealing with, because sizibonile ezingaphambili ngaphandle kweze-COVID, sizibonile ngaphambili yoba umuntu anikwe iparole, the next thing the very person onikwe iparole after a year uphinde ngayenza le. So I think i-researcher yethu ayisenzela noba yiprogram yoba mhlawumbi khe sivizithe ezi-parole board khe sithethe nazo khe sibone ukuthi ithini, bakhe basinike in-depth ukuba unikwa iparole xa kutheni. Kukho la section 276 umuntu agwetywa ngawo noba bebulele uba yi-first offender kuthiwa uhlala nje iminyaka nembalwa akhawuleza aphume inyanga. So we must u-researcher yethu makasi-organizele i-meeting with i-parole board anazo. I think u-relevant with that issue was once naye a parole board member makasincedise kakhulu phaa. Kwi-issue ye-PPE, siyavumelana that asizokuqala zikhops zintsha. Sinazo ii-cooperatives ezikhona ebezikhona. Okwethu is to check in our areas kuba zikhona ziphi zenzayo. Encourage them ukuba benze, sibancedise kwathina kuba how to register as ilishwa ke esinalo. I think by Timbazi I do have then cooperatives about 2 bebesezifemeni. Xa ndiphinda ndiyobatsheksha I found that ukuthi bayekile because laa fem bebesenza kuyo ibibhaglarishwa ibiwe kuthathwe yonke umashini bebenawo. They ended up social development esithi oba bakushiyekileyo mashini bakhona mabaske babelane bodwa umuntu azithungele endlini yakhe. So ikhona loo element yomama ii-coops zabo azimi bathanda ukuthungela 111 omama. Abayithanda lokungena ezekho ingathi bangenise imali kade lana. Kodwa ke it's our duty as members of that le nto kuzavula izikolo ngoku a number of as PPEs, especially masks, needed. So we have to raise and encourage our women ukuthi banazo i-COP baqhubeke ke ngokuba sibancedise if they are not registered barejistarishe. And sibancedise nakwinto ye-procurement so that sitshekishe ukuthi department the critical. In fact, I checked with who MEC what treasurer. She said the procurement is not central. I am done with treasurer. Each department yes procurement yes PPEs. So it means that you must check oversight and each and every department who must raise this issue with department and see John Gelantuba as PPE as Cabes only report put bazinike obani. See John Genale competition to Nale. I remember the yoba ikhona nale tendency yama women that are frontlining izinto zamadoda ingathi kana abakhosikazi bafronta ayizonto zabo so sigadi nale but kodwa we must support our women. The issue of shelters and homeless, yes, it's true. Social development when these shelters and say homeless identify you. I remember the King Home Memorial there was separated like upper king males lady bazawuthola idibhazi but kangafumaneki. But kukhona shelters bezikhona for the abuse. I saw the right to bakudibana ubaba notata alidibana ikhaphetshu nebhola. So we need to visit as centers so that we encourage the social development to look at it. Center enjalo must raise the alarm it can't be correct yoba kudibane umama notata in a center bengatshatanga bengazo boyfriend. As the centers must be data yazo uthi uma unyalambisa nakwi-COP must have idata ngokwezi PCO zethu basiziphi zezantoni zezomthungo zezolimo so that xa confronted these departments zisithi azibazi sibe sithi nazi thina sinazo nje nina nitheni ngabazi and we encourage our department ukuthi bazisebenzise. Ndicinga uba ndizikhavarishile zonke izinto ebenizithethile and ndicinga uba nee-officials zethu ziyayinowutha le nto yes reports isinedekayo so that kwi-next meeting yethu we have a proper report esinika umkhombandlela on how to go forward when we are dealing with our issues. Thank you, honourable members. Honourable members, are still there?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Shan.
I'm listening.
Okay, Sihlalo mna benifuna
Sihlalo.
Usakhona thetha eplatformini mama.
Hayi Sihlalo mna No, I was just want to also remind the issue of sanitary towels. Because last week also the ministers, the Minister of Social Development and
they spoke about into sanitary
Okay.
towels that need to be non-seekers to be distributed. Andifuni ke siyishiye mna ndiyabawula siyilinke nale nto yezimaski because ke go-girl
Okay.
child bethu apha. Yeah.
Okay.
Nkosi.
That's good. Agreed. Agreed. Siyamkela mama. Mama 12 chess.
Enkosi Sihlalo. Thank you Sihlalo. Bendicingela into yoba ke Sihlalo kungabaluleka into yoba njengoba siqhuba noba ivelanga nje namhlanje kodwa ukhe wasihinta ngento yekheyisi katata Omutoso epostponiweyo. Now Sihlalo kukhona ezisasiye kuzo eMaclear naseMount Fletcher ii-cases ze-GBV that were postponed to i-14 zikaMeyi. I thought ke Sihlalo mhlawumbe sizayifumana into ethi kuthiwane ngazo ziyaqhuba na okanye ziyapostponwa okanye zizatshone. Bendicela ke Sihlalo uba iofisi yakho itshekshele loo nto so kulandeliswe nge-email just ii-updates ezingantoni kwezaa so that zingalahli ziduke ne-COVID. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson. Chair of Chairs. Masibulele, really, and we've got those cases as eMaclear naseMatatela and many other cases. We must make a follow up. I think when an endele COVID is because we were sifuna uzilandelela cases but ke ngokunzima akuhambeki but officials zethu must make sure ukuthi they contact even the women in those areas so that bona bakufutshane basinike feedback yoba bona bazawukwazi ukuya phaa kweza magistrate office to check ukuthi icase ethile ithini case ethile so i-officials zethu must note that. Ngalo mazwi honorable members, I think ibhethi yam iyaphela apha. Ingabi khona into esiyishiye out? Honorable members, is there anything that I've left out so that we close our meeting?
I don't think.
I don't think so, Chair.
Hello, Sihlalo. Hello, Mama.
Sigqibile Sihlalo.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you propose closure of the meeting? Can someone propose
Yes,
closure of
Sihlalo.
the meeting? Mama Tataya.
Agreed.
Thank you, honorable members. Siyabulela kakhulu ngexesha lenu elimoshileyo noma sikhona apha step by step makhosikazi sizawude siyifumane wena lento ye-COVID nalento ye-visual sizawude singene sonke siphele. Siyabulela kakhulu. Go well, go shall. Please take care, stay safe and be good. Thank you, honorable members. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.